Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with another thoughts, analysis, and rant. This time it is the Apple iPad Pro. Both models, the 11.9 inch screen model and the 12.9 inch iPad Pro. So, Apple made a conference this past week presenting their new iPad Pros. Not only that, presenting their new Apple Pencil. So, what are the biggest takeaway from the Apple iPad Pros? So first and foremost, we got to get on with the specs. So first and foremost, we got this new 7nm 12A12X Bions processor, 120 hertz screen. Obviously, there's a new design in the iPad Pros, which looks like a iPhone SE, I guess you can call it, or even the Apple iPhone 4. And it does have a camera hump. No more headphone jack, but the Lightning connector has changed to USB Type-C. Hallelujah, good things, that's a good thing. The screen is much more color accurate compared to the previous iPad Pros. Obviously bump up in price, and there's no home button. They minimized the bezels all around. Obviously it still has a sensor, depth sensors in the front, and also camera in the front and also in the back. And it does have a instead of a home button, now it uses Face ID and also gestures for your switching applications, get to the home screen, or also change into settings. And so basically, I mean, the basic upgrades are just that. It will come in 4 storage, which is 64 gigabit, 256 and 512 gigs, and 1 terabyte. So we got a price ranging from $800 to $1,800. Now, I'm going to talk about the pen, even though this video is mainly about iPad Pro. The pen has been revised. It doesn't connect on the top now. It does connect. It docks, and it magnetically docks on the side of the iPad Pro, because the iPad Pro has now a dock for the Apple Pencil. It kind of reminds me of the Windows Surface Pro, where you can put it on the side. So that's basically it, but it also charges the Apple Pencil. Not only that, it has a charge out, so you can charge your Apple iPhones or Apple devices, however you want to call it. And Pencil also had a upgrade of touch pressure sensitives, which is now much more faster to respond when you're sketching or you're typing. I mean, not typing, but actually writing notes. And have I mentioned there is no headphone jack, even though there's a camera hump? I will get to that soon. So, in terms of specs, obviously the iPad Pro has probably the best spec in any tablets around, bar none. I'll give them that. In terms of features, I think these features have already been seen in other devices. In terms of the price, I think the app price is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm also glad that they finally actually upgraded the pen and actually made it charge much better than the previous ones. And I don't understand why current iPad owners even defend that stupid decision, but that's just me. So how about we get to my thoughts? So my thoughts are, obviously, I think in terms of value it is not a great value, but in terms of specs, it's absolutely great. In terms of the screen being reduced to a bezel, I think it's great, but I don't think that it was great to take out the home button, because in terms of the gestures, you would have to move your hand. It's just multiple hand gestures here, multiple movements in the hands or fingers. I prefer just pressing the home button boom, that's it. You get to your home screen. It's just one click. Not only that, if you are liking Touch ID, I think to me it's much better than just multiple gestures and even Face ID. But that's just me, okay? I do like how the screen looks. Definitely has more space to work, more space to sketch, more space to edit videos. Obviously, if you look at the apps, I think that you can have a lot of apps here, but I don't think you would want that because it would just take away from the clean look. And it will also, I don't think this is as ergonomic as the previous iPad, because the previous iPad had a curved back on the side. This one, it's all basically flat and sharp. Kind of reminds me of the iPhone 5, right? And I don't think it's as ergonomic as it is. And I think this is not as good to handle as the previous iPad Pros, because again, when you have that curvature, it's actually contours to your hand and you have something to grab on front. But this one, when you're grabbing something, depending on the sensitivity of the screen, you might accidentally press something, or you might accidentally launch an application depending on where you are holding it. And people say, oh, that feels great and so from multiple videos, but I don't think that in terms of being ergonomically sound, the previous iPad is just that much better. And since it doesn't have a headphone jack, I don't want to hear that BS. Stop it. If it has a camera hump, obviously they could just flush it, make this clean and make everything to be all flat and just add a headphone jack. All it is just they're just trying to make money off accessories, whether it be AirPods, whether it be headphones from Bose, whatever it could be, or even Beats. So there are other things that I actually hate about this. I hate the fact that it has a camera hump. Let's not get into that because I think it's just a waste of body. They could have just made it smoother and have additional battery capacity. Not only that, the biggest thing to me is the value is just not there. 1 terabyte for a 1800 tablet. Well, I might as well just get a MacBook Pro, and a MacBook Pro does more things than the tablet. But I'm sure there are Apple fans or people out there who will defend the price, and I don't know, for some reason I don't know why they would defend it. Yes, you can get a lower storage model, but here's the thing: 64 gig, $1,000; 256 gig, $1,200. I'm only speaking of the 12.9. So I mean, the value proposition isn't there. And add to that Apple Pencil, the new one, is $129. The previous Apple Pencil was $100. So now now depending on which models you get, you may spend around $1,500, and that doesn't even include the keyboard. I mean, it's really hard to even justify the iPad Pro unless you're getting it for a discount. I'm not gonna lie, I like the fact that it has a USB Type-C, but that's about it. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, if I really have to buy a iPad, I might just get the previous iPad Pro generation. Okay, now let's get to my analysis. In the world of tablets, where tablets is as of right now stagnant, it's not making up sales compared to their mobile counterparts, i.e. smartphones. I do think that this iPad Pro are the best of the best when it comes to specs and features and usage and efficiency. But there are certain design flaws that this generation of iPad Pro, that it could have been fixed and no one would have to question it. I'll bring it back again. Number one, camera hump. why need it? Just make the body smooth and just add the battery capacity, which in turn result in a higher battery hours or longer battery life. Number 2, just add a headphone jack. If a MacBook or a MacBook Air still has the headphone jack, why remove it from the iPad Pro? Not only that, Apple, they didn't really segment the iPad Pro to laptop users, but you obviously can tell that they want to use this for laptop replacement. So again, not including the headphone jack is just not a good way to make, I wouldn't say not a good way, but removing it entirely from the iPad Pro just did not make sense, and it was not necessary. The biggest thing of all is that I'm still trying to understand. If you want something lighter for a mobile workstation, just get a MacBook Air. Even get a MacBook, because it can do so much. It has multiple functions. It can last much longer than the iPad. And you can have more accessories using MacBook or MacBook Air. But with iPad Pro just having one USB, now you're stuck with dongles. And not only that, you're only using it limited ways, such as if you want to have multiple connection, obviously it only has one USB Type-C, and then you would have to use the Bluetooth. For a price of $1,000, or you can even say $1,200 depending on which storage model you can, comparing it to its laptop counterparts, it's really hard to justify an iPad Pro. If you tell me that you can get the iPad Pro for a discount, I would recommend it. Go ahead and buy it. But as of right now, where it stands, the investment of buying an iPad Pro is just not a good idea as of right now. Now, when it comes to Black Friday or even Christmas shopping, when it comes down to price, that would absolutely be great. But as of right now, if you have the current iPad Pro, I don't think there is no need to upgrade. You might as well wait for the next year iPad Pro. And so that basically concludes my thoughts, analysis, and rant. I know I didn't get onto the rant section, but I spread the rant section through multiple topics, because I feel as though just adding the rants in there is just much better, and I don't want to repeat myself again. And so that basically it for the video. If you have any comments below, let me know. Look, you can say I'm hating on the iPad Pro or not, but there's no denying that this tablet is certainly a good tablet. But there are also certain things that I just don't like about it, because, well, it's Apple ways. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.